Hello all, it's Melinda. Today I'm bringing you Load 517 Day 10. The prompt today is based on High Noon, a 1952 Western, and the prompt is time. Use time as a theme for today's layout by using clocks or time stamps. Tell a story of how time has changed you or a now and then page. When I heard the prompt, I instantly clicked on clocks and did a search for clocks. And there is a chipboard by Blue Fern that is a large Roman clock, and you get little ones. But everywhere I looked, it was out of stock. So I thought, I went on the Silhouette store and found a Roman clock, and I cut it 4 times so that I could get thickness. I'm going to glue these together. It doesn't come exactly like this. I adjusted the width of this in my Silhouette and added a dashed line. Now I had hoped the dashed line would cut so there was actually a hole you could see through just a touch, but it didn't, so I'm just going to go with it. It kind of looks like a stitch line in person. I think I'm going to use one of my pages that I won at the last load from the Bo Bunny paper pack. Life in Color. This one is mixed paper, I believe. Oh, maybe not. Hang on. Life in Color Hidden Treasure. So this is the A side. I'm going to use the B side. I kind of like the blues and the purples. Kind of looks like old wallpaper or washed out. I think I'm going to put this a little off kilter here and stick it off. And I have 3 photos of my grandparents. One in 1940, one in 1965, and one in 1980 about. And my thought process is I don't know that I'm going to end up using all 3 of these photos. 3 just seems like a lot with the big clock, so we'll see. I'm thinking that I'm going to use the oldest one and the most recent one that I have here and possibly do them like that, maybe little layers. I also think I'm going to use the Distressed Oxide inks to maybe add a little color and variation to this, make this clock look a little bit old. We'll see. I'll do it on one of the, I'll do it before I stack them together in case I don't like it, and then I can just stack the black on top and it's hidden. I did notice that the paper has some purple in it, and I also have the Distressed Oxide in purple, so it's possible that'll show up in it. But that's basically all I have planned out. I'm thinking my title is going to be something like Time Well Spent or A Life Well Lived, something like that. But we'll see. I haven't figured out what letters I'm going to use, so you'll be surprised as I am as I do this. I'm going to stick you on fast forward, and you can watch this process as I come up with it. Thank you.
I'm going to start out with the lightest blue. It's Broken China. And just rub it here and there just to give the clock a little more dimension. It was looking a little bit stark to me on the blue page. There's no rhyme or reason of where I'm putting the color. I just kind of dab it here and there. These are the new Distress Oxide by Tim Holtz, and I didn't realize it when I bought them, but they show up on dark paper, which makes it perfect for this application. This one is Blue Jean, I believe. I'm just kind of checking it out to see if it's working. The purple, I'm not sure what the color is. Color name is. But again, just a little less purple. I was a little afraid to put too much purple on it. Purple is a hard color for me to use. Now these will take a little bit of time to dry. So yeah, I do like that. So I'm going to end up gluing the rest of them together and setting that one aside to dry. They're kind of a creamy consistency, and they are surprising when they look dry because they're creamy and kind of chalky looking. but you get them on your fingers and then you spread it around. So I'm going to fuss a lot with this. My goal is to have the clock on, and it's going to be a major eye draw, but I don't want it centered. And I want to keep in mind that I want to keep the 12 at the top. I'm going to use the ATG gun on the outside wide ring. Like you watch me do it all, because that's pretty boring. But the ATG on the outside and the glue pen on the small inside ring. This can be kind of fiddly when you're trying to get all the little pieces to line up, but it's kind of imperative that they do, or else the whole look is not gonna come off as we want it. Making sure the noon is at the top. I have realized that I'm watching the video that the clock keeps getting pushed to the top as I'm doing this, and so I have a little bit less space at the top and the bottom. It kind of pinches my journaling a little bit, but it's done. I'm looking through my small little 4-piece pack of 4 purple papers that I have, and I'm going to pick this lighter one, but I will tell you that initially the brown in it made me nervous. I glued the photos together so that they were a unit, but the little brown streak in the paper made me pause. But as I put it on here and realized that I cover most of it up, you barely see that it's brown, and you may not even notice it was brown except for me just telling you that. I'm going to cut it into a banner. Just fold it in half and cut it. Very unscientific. The photos just needed, they were floating a little bit, so they just needed something. And I'm going to add the layer of tissue paper. I stick one side down, stick the other side down on the other edge, and then crinkle it in the center. Just adds texture and dimension. I like the ripped imperfect parts. I think it goes kind of with the style. I'm writing out my title idea. I do this mainly to get it out of my head, and also so that when I do the title, I can, with the stickers, I can look at that and not have to continually worry about it. I know I need something over there to draw the color over there, but that's too bold. I have this wide washi tape. I think it's about 3 inches wide. Rip it in half, and I'm going to put it on each side of the layout. It just adds an interest. It brings the black over there, but doesn't scream black. And the newspaper kind of looks like an old style newspaper, which kind of goes with the time period. I have more washi tape in purple than I do paper, and I use this little lavender scallop. I'm going to also add it next to the photos just to balance that color purple. I just stick it on the tissue paper. I'm going to fuss with the tissue paper. It has a fold that I don't like. I think that this banner needed to be outlined a little bit to kind of define it. The purple and the blue are a similar color tone to in my eye, so I needed to separate it. I'm going to rip another section of this washi tape and stick it on the opposite side of the banner so that it kind of looks like it's one big wide piece of newspaper. Sort of trick the eye. I don't know what the thicker name of this is. I believe I must have just lost the top of that bag. But I liked the font it was a very similar font to the newspaper print. And the title I picked is A Life Well Lived. I have no E's in this thicker pack, so I'm using C's and twisting them up because it's foam and you can easily do that. Thankfully, they threw in a lot of C's for some reason. I lay the letters on wax paper so that I can move them around as a whole word. I cut it in strips so that I can move each line independently. I'm going to change out the capital A for small a and the capital L. I'm going to cut I to make it look like a small L. For my I in the space, I thought the lowercase worked better. Some of the ones that were stored on the wax paper from different layouts that I didn't end up using the words lost their stick. Actually, the wax paper stuck to it, so I just needed to use some adhesive. Yeah, I had to look to see which letter had the same look as the L. Now, originally I thought I would add the journaling to this same space, maybe in some strips, but I didn't want to crowd it after I got that on there. I need some sort of label to add the dates to the photos or near the photos, and I happen to have very few purple stickers, but I do have one that is a banner style. I'm going to cut it in half, put the date on each side, cut it in half, and just stick it on the sides of the photo. I want them to be opposite each other, but not over someone's head. Just fold it over the edge. I'm going to staple it once and then one more time. I'm going to add some foam to bring up the level of the center of the photo to be the same as the clock. I was forgetting that I hadn't actually adhered the clock down. I thought I better do that before I go sticking layers on it. I'm going to adhere everything together, and I'm also going to staple a second time so it's stapled through all the layers. It kind of just will hold up better over time. Just need more foam under the corner. This was actually pretty tough to cut through. I was surprised. The journaling I'm going to end up putting around this circle. I don't like to do that because it's hard to read, but it was about the only spot I had. And the journaling reads, James and Clara Edmonds Bennett spent 52 years together before he passed away in 1992. They worked hard, raised 5 kids, traveled frequently, and were the best grandparents ever. Miss them. I put it on first in pencil and then went over it with the marker, so I erase the pencil marks. I do this often for spacing, so I know that I have enough space for all I want to say. When I'm finished with this, I'm going to get the Tim Holtz pad in the purple that I used and make a watery solution so that I can take a small paintbrush and flick paint on. No rhyme or reason, just kind of flicking. Just want to spread the purple around just a little bit. It's very subtle. It doesn't scream, look at the purple. And that's what I was going for. I also add purple in little bitty sections here and there. The tail right there had hardly any color on it whatsoever, and I wanted just to add some purple. I'm by no means a watercolor painter, so this is very crude. Basically just kind of slapping paint on. I'm also going to paint right against the washi tape that's on the opposite side of the photos. Again, just making it kind of look like a shadow and spread the purple around. I'm going to stick a label on the back so that I can write on that dark paper. And this is layout 59 of 2017. I have load 517, day 10 on the label, and then the date that I did it. And with that, the layout is done. I have some still shots at the end for you. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. I try to answer as soon as possible. And give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed and you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. That would really make my day. Thank you.